Melancholia, written and directed by the controversial Lars von Trier, but the film itself is surprisingly tame for his standards. It stars Kirsten Dunst, Charlotte Gainsbourg, Kiefer Sutherland, Alexander Skarsgård, Charlotte Rampling, John Hurt, and Stellan Skarsgård. It's a film about depression and existentialism as a general philosophy, but also more specifically the existential dread that humans can experience. Following an artsy prologue, which is this long montage of beautiful frames without any dialogue, the film is then split into two halves, each focusing on one sister. The first part is about Justine and takes place during her wedding party, which begins going wrong from the onset. The married couple are 2 hours late to the venue, the bride's mother seems unhappy to even be there. There is a creepy boss from the bride's company pestering her about work stuff, even at the wedding. And then it gets progressively worse, not least because of direct actions of Justine herself, who seems to lose energy and the will to be there to participate as time goes on. She seems to be in a weirdly uncaring state of mind, which, later becomes obvious it was depression. She acts as if none of this matters and ends up basically ruining her night and her life in multiple ways. The second half then focuses on her sister Claire and takes place in the days following that fateful wedding. Claire's family is joined by Justine at their mansion, and they anxiously observe an astronomical event happening in real time. A massive planet, previously hidden behind the sun, suddenly appears on the sky and seems to be on a collision course with the Earth, which would mean global extinction. Some people claim it will hit, some people say it will narrowly pass the Earth and people will be safe. Claire's husband is in that camp, and so we watch these people and the way they behave sort of change in this unusual situation. Now, I know it sounds a bit weird, and especially the two halves may appear disjointed, disconnected when you describe them this way in terms of the premise, but it actually makes sense and ends up being a pretty engrossing film. So it's like the first half is designed to make you anxious and wonder what the hell's going on. Why is this Justine lady behaving in such weird ways? Why would she be doing all of this? Is she crazy? And then in the second half, it weirdly starts to make sense and come together. I was thinking to myself, well, if the world was ending, why would you care about all of this? Why not just do whatever you want in the moment, disregarding long-term consequences? And we see this kind of through the eyes of Claire, who is now herself starting to get anxious about the planet, about the impending doom, and at the same time takes care of Justine, who seems to have become completely overwhelmed by depression and just exists without any purpose, as if just waiting for the end. It's difficult to explain, but the movie does a good job of making you feel and experience all those various emotions, this unease and anxiety and even a slight awkwardness at times. It's well shot in a kind of fluid way, with the camera never really being stationary, but instead always just moving and slightly floating around. The performances are fantastic, especially Kirsten Dunst. There are little bits of weird dark humor in moments you would least expect them to be, as is typical for von Trier. All in all, I don't know if it's the right way to describe it, but it's kind of a lyrical, poetic movie in a good way. Melancholic too, obviously. I did think it was quite beautiful and profound at the same time. Solid film.